Put it out the coupe in the lot. Told her fuck 12, fuck swat. Buzzing all the bells out the box. I just hit a lick with the box. Had to put the stick in the box.
Welcome back to my channel, guys. So for today's video, today, if you're new to this channel, my name is Laurie, and on this channel, I keep it 100. If you're not subscribed, please don't forget to tap on the subscribe button and don't forget to smash on the like button. I'm going to be telling you a story why I stopped doing pills. So guys, this video really gets deep and it might get emotional, but guess what? I changed, I'm better, and I feel free, guys. I feel alive. I just feel like I wake up every morning and I take a deep breath and thank God that I'm alive, that I'm healthy, that I'm here to see my son, my dog, my parents, and yeah, guys, like I am so blessed to wake up every morning and just to take that deep breath and just be like, thank you, Jesus, thank you. Because without that man, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. He saved my life completely. He did. Prayers, guys, prayers. But anyways, me and Hugo are going to be going to Starbucks. You don't want to go? That was a yes. But anyways, guys, we're going to go get some Starbucks and then I'm going to be telling my story. But anyways, guys, I love you guys so much. Please don't forget to give my videos a like because it does help my channel grow. Not only that, I want to tell my life story and what I've been through just so that people, because there's a lot of people that are either dealing with it or that want to know more about it. My story can help change somebody or help someone. We're going to Starbucks, guys. He waits patiently. He got his puppuccino and I got my Starbucks because you already know I need my Starbucks. Who ordered a puppuccino? He don't even give a shit about me right now. He don't care at all. He's like, I got my puppuccino. I got what I want. You can go do what you got to do. Every time I say, Hugo, look, he pops his head up, but not this time. Hugo, look. King. He don't even care. Anyways, with that being said, no, lips got to be popping 24/7. They got to be on point. I hope everybody is having a wonderful Sunday and had a great weekend. I know I had to come to the park because when I'm at the park, I feel more focused of what I'm going to talk about. Even though I get off track and I start talking about other things. Got my Starbucks and my water and my dog. He's sleeping now until he sees a dog. Anyways, guys, as you know, so this story is just kind of talking about why I quit painkillers. What is the real reason why I quit painkillers, prescription narcotics, Percocets, muscle relaxers, fentanyl, however you want to call it. As you know, if you guys been following my story, I was addicted to pain medications for about 8 to 10 years. So back in 2010, my father passed away. I was working at Safeways and I just became depressed. I was at work and I hurt my back and they put me on pain medications. Just kind of got deep from there. Once my father passed away, I really fell into a depression because me and my dad were so close and he was my rock. It was like, I will leave the link down in the description so in case you are interested in seeing the full video. In 2010, my father passed away of a massive heart attack. My dad was not only my best friend, he was my rock. My heart just fell. My heart fell. My brother told me Daddy passed away. And I said, what? He said Daddy had a massive heart attack. And the lady was like, I'm so sorry. There's not a day that goes by that I don't miss this man. I think of him every day. The memories, the laughs, it's just hearing his voice is what I miss the most. I love you, Daddy, until we meet again. It was like the devastatingest thing in my life. I felt so alone. My whole world just crumbled. My son was about 2 years old at that time. When I was taking that pain medication, it was like numbing me so I wouldn't feel. I got so deep that I started paying cash for them. It got so deep that I started taking more than what I was prescribed. I just fell into a deep depression, but at the same time, I was numb from what was going on. Like I was here, but not in reality. I miss my daddy, guys. I really miss my daddy. If my daddy never passed, I probably would have never gone down that whole pill shit. But then again, I don't know because I can't predict what was to happen, you know? But all I know is when he passed, those Percocets were just making me feel good because I was high. So I was just popping them like crazy. I miss you, Daddy. Pain medications will definitely take you down a path that you never thought could be possible. It just got so deep that I started paying cash for them. You know, one thing that I always did was maintain my home. I always paid my bills, always maintained my rent, made sure that my son had food, clothes, and everything that he needed. I've always showed him love, attention, and affection, and we always kept that communication, always, no matter what. Like my son says, Mommy, I never missed out on anything. He says, we have so many memories that I will always treasure and remember. I'm so grateful that he feels that way, because that reminds me that I know I've done my job and I've done everything in my power to make sure that my son never lacked love, attention, affection. I always wanted to make sure that we had that close bond. So for him to think that way, it's like a beautiful thing, because I know I did my job as a mother. I'm not saying I'm the best mother. I can tell you that I've always been there since day one. I've never had anybody take care of my son. I've never had anybody step in and help me. I've been doing it by myself, and I will continue to take care of my son. He's my world. He was the motivation of why I changed. And I'm grateful for that, you know, because there's a lot of people that do pills, do drugs, and they forget their kids. And that's really sad. I wanted to make sure, even though my mindset wasn't straight and I wasn't clear-minded, but I always wanted to make sure that I kept that bond and that communication with my son, because when you lose that, you lose trust, you lose focus, you lose the communication, you lose the bond, you lose everything. And I wasn't about to have that at all. No, no, no. So how I got into this whole pill thing, I hurt my back one day and they put me on Percocets. They gave me like a 30-day supply. It just went from there. I started buying Percocets. I started even doing Somas. Soma's like a back relaxer. So the Somas, they are prescribed. It's more like a pain reliever for like injuries for your muscles. But let me tell you, those pills hook you up big time. I mean, big time. They make you nod out. They make you fall asleep on sight. And they're very addicting. All these pills do is sedate you. And I started doing those. I don't regret for what I did, because at the time that I'm going to be real. At the time that I was doing them, I felt good. Like I was able to do 20 things in one. Well, not 20 things, but you know what I mean. Like so many things at once. I was motivated. I'm a happy person, but when you're on those pills, it takes on another path of happiness. I don't know. It's very hard to explain, but the withdrawal is a bitch, okay? The withdrawal is not worth it. You're addicted to pain medications and you have withdrawals. You feel like you're dying, literally. These are the symptoms I had. I was irritable, irritated. I had to use the restroom. I was nauseated, cold sweats, headache, heart palpitations, restless, fatigue, weak, loss of appetite, depressed. It was bad. It feels like the flu 10 times. Literally, it does. The withdrawals are not worth it. But when I was high and I was on them, it was like nothing can stop me. I can't be touched. I felt good because I was high, I was numb. I've always been a happy person, even though I've been through so much in life. I've always tried to keep a smile on my face. I always try to look past through things, you know? I'm very forgiving. Everybody has different symptoms. Everybody deals with withdrawals and being on pain medications way different than other people. And so what withdrawals that I went through, somebody else could have been through something more easier, or people do go through things way harder than I do. Me, I have a very strong mindset, so therefore I never allowed things to control me or win over me. I got deep, I got my shit together, and I pulled myself out. The fear on my son's face was enough to make me realize, like, what the hell are you doing, girl? You need to stop and get your shit together, period. From that point on, I was motivated and I was determined. That's because the fear on my son's face made me realize what I could lose. The fear on my son's face made me realize, what the hell are you doing? The fear on my son's face was enough to make me realize how I was hurting him. The look on my baby's face scared the f out of me. The fear on my baby's face I would never want to see again. Ever. That's my baby. I started thinking, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I taking my son down my dirt? Why am I dragging my son through my mud? You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have anything to do with it. He's totally innocent. What am I doing? Sometimes we learn and sometimes we don't. And I was definitely going to learn. Because my son is way more important than any fucking drug or anything out there. My son is worth it. And to the parents that keep doing drugs and they drag their kids through the mud, or they allow their parents or everybody else to watch them, shame the fuck on you. Shame on you. You should be getting your shit together or don't have kids. Don't open your legs or don't put your ding-a-ling in somebody so they could get pregnant. Protect yourself and don't have kids. It ain't nobody else's responsibility to watch your kids. Don't have children if you're not going to take care of your kids. I get so mad when parents have kids and they're dragging their kids through dirt, or everybody else is watching their kids because of their habits or their fuck-ups. You see a lot of these parents chasing men and women, but they're not worried about their kids. Like what? No man or no woman, no drug or anybody else should be more important than your own children. Come on now. Like, shame on you. It was enough for me to get motivated and stop the bullshit. It was like something stomped on my face, and it was like, get your shit together, pick yourself up, and get your ass together. And that's all it took, was that fear on my son's face. And I'm very motivated, but just in a positive way. But when I was doing pills, like, I was so motivated. I was ready to go. Like, shit was popping. I was taking those pills, the high felt so good. I can't explain it, but the high was freaking amazing. It's like when you take the pill, you feel high, but the high is like, oh my God, it feels good. But at the same time, the fucking withdrawals are not worth it, and you just ruin your life. There's nothing positive that comes out of that at all. But the freaking withdrawal, oh my God. The withdrawal is real. Like I said, I had fun doing them because I was high. So I didn't really recognize what I was doing. Like, I knew what I was doing, but I didn't pay too much attention because I was too high. Recognizing depths of how I was hurting myself as well as my loved ones. And my brother at the time, he was alive too, but like nobody knew. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and say that I regret for doing them, because at that time, like, and it's sad to say that I had fun doing pills, because who in their right mindset would say that? But at that time, I had fun. I was on the go. I was doing a lot of things at once. But now that I'm straight-minded, focused, and cleared, and just clean, it's like, damn, why did I waste that time? Why did I put time, energy, and money into something that only lasted for a while? Because the high doesn't last a long time. So much time is wasted because you're just sedated. When you're addicted and you're deep in it, it's like the high is not that long, but you waste a lot of money, a lot. So one day I decided to buy pills. I went to go buy some Percocets, some 30 milligram Percocets. At that time, there was a lot of gossip going around saying, be careful what you buy because people are selling fentanyl. And I was like, well, I don't think people will sell me fentanyl. People don't give a shit, especially when it comes to money. That's all they want. Out of 30 Percocet, what I thought, drove home. I pulled up, and mind you, I got so deep that I started sniffing that shit. And let me tell you, I cannot smell like I used to. If I open a jar of garlic, I can smell it for a split second. If I open a candle, I can smell it for a split second. But after that, the smell diminishes. Like, I can't smell. If you take a poop, I can't smell it. Sometimes I'm just so desperate to smell, because smelling is like everything, guys. And I can't even smell because I messed up my freaking nose. Like, I messed that shit up. So I tell you, they're not worth it. Just fuck your life up. I pulled up to my house. My son was inside with his father. I pulled up and I cut the pill in half and chopped it up, sniffed it, and then I went in the house. I went upstairs, sat on the toilet. All I remember is my son going in the bathroom, and I was sitting on the toilet. He was just asking me how my day was. My baby, he always asks me how my day was. But all I remember is like doing this, and he's like, how was your day, mommy? And I go, good, baby. And I went to slouch over, and that's it. That's all I remember. And I woke up to ambulance and fire department all over me. Let me tell you something. In that moment, I felt like I was being attacked by a bunch of people, and I was fighting. I just OD'd and died and didn't even know. So I guess they put a Narcan up my nose and I came out of it. But when I woke up, I felt like I was being attacked by a bunch of people. So I was fighting with everybody. And my son's father looked at me and I looked at him and I was like, what the hell? Why is he letting these people attack me? Because all I recognized was his face. He went like this. he said you had an overdose. And I could hear everybody saying, you OD'd, you OD'd. My heart just dropped. I was so scared, shocked, and I was just worried about my son. Like, what am I doing with my life? I was like, what? And the paramedics got up and like said, are you okay? Are you okay? And they got me up and I stood up like that. My son's father told my son to stay downstairs while the paramedics came. And I'm grateful that he did that. My son went upstairs and he looked around the corner like that. And I looked at him and he just looked at me like... It was the fear in my son's face. He was so scared. He was confused. Like he didn't know. He didn't understand. But just the look on his face. He looked at me. He looked at me. He looked at me and he said, Mama, are you okay? He says, Mama, are you okay? I need you. And I was just like, in my head, I was like, what the fuck are you doing, Laurie? Like, what are you doing? How did this happen? And I went to the hospital and they drug tested me for Percocets, Somas, and then I had fentanyl. And they said, you overdosed on fentanyl. What? And let me just tell you, fentanyl was not my choice of drug. The only pills that I've done was Percocet and Somas. When I was drug tested and I had fentanyl, I was like, son of a bitch, someone sold me a bad pill. I didn't do nothing else but Percocets and Somas. That was it. When I found out that fentanyl was in my freaking system, I was scared. I was afraid. That was like my worst fear ever. To know that someone sold me a pill, didn't tell me nothing about it, and I could have died. My son could be here with no mother because of a stupidity choice that I made. When I asked the person, they were like, oh, I didn't know. They were telling me that their sister and somebody else had an overdose as well. And I was like, why would you guys keep selling these pills when somebody just overdosed in your family? Karma's a bitch though, because that shit turned around and got those people in the ass. Like, they got robbed for their fentanyls. I'm just glad I quit when I did. I am so glad. And my son's face was enough for me to be motivated, for me to say, you know what, Laurie, you need to get your shit together, get your life together, raise your son. I've always been a good mother, so I'm never going to say that I've never not done anything for my kid. But I'd be damned if I put my son through any of my bullshit. There's a lot of parents that do. They drag their kids down their freaking shit. I wasn't going to be one of them parents. Hells to the no. I will fight to the end. And that's what I did. At that moment, I was like, what the fuck am I doing? What am I doing with my life? Why are you hurting your son? Why are you hurting people around you? Why are you hurting yourself? You have so much to live for. Your son needs you, Laurie. Like, you got to wake up. What are you doing? I was so mad at myself. So mad. I'm not comparing myself to other people, but there's a lot of people that they overdose and they want more after that. I had 60 pills, 30 milligram Percocets. Always stocked up on pills. When you're a pill popper, you make sure you stay stocked up. I used to sell 5 milligram Percocets, make more money, and then buy a higher dose. Because I needed that higher dose because my tolerance to medication just got high. You know, because I was doing pills every single day. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? And so, like, I would buy a lot of pills. I had 30 pills of 30 milligram Percocets. I had like 25 Somas. I had 15 of the fake Percocets, which was fentanyl. When you're an addict, you get this mentality that you need more than what you need. So if I had like 10 pills, I needed to make sure that I had 10 more for the next day. My tolerance to medications was sky high through the damn roof. It really was. I was doing a lot of pills a day. A lot. The mentality to think, well, I need more. I was always trying to stay stocked up. It's pitiful. I was like a whole pharmacy at home. I came home from the hospital because they let me go after like 30 minutes of running tests and I was fine. So they let me go. My son's father picked me up and he was just telling me on the way home. My son was in the back and I had my son put on his headset because I didn't want him hearing anything that I was talking about. My son's not stupid. Your children are not dumb. They know what the fuck you're doing. But I didn't want him to hear exactly what my son's father's seen. My son told his dad, when I went upstairs in the bathroom and I fell asleep or OD'd, my son told my son's father, Daddy, mommy's sleeping and she doesn't want to wake up. He says she's not moving and she's going to fall off the toilet. This is what my son's father said. He ran up the stairs. He said, but when he lifted me up like this, because I was slouched over, he said my lips were blue. And he dialed 911 quick. And he told my son, go downstairs, go downstairs. And my son was like, my son's father said my son was so scared. Mommy, get up, wake up. The thought of me listening to that and him saying that, it's like, what the fuck are you doing to your life, Laurie? Your son needs you. He needs his mother. You need to change your life and wake the F up. My son's father was telling me exactly what happened on the way home. He goes, oh my God, Laurie, I was so scared. You overdosed. You OD'd. He said, but son seen you and he was so scared. He started screaming and crying. My son, I never did pills in front of my son. I always hid it. You know, at times I would nod out, you know, but not to the point where I'm just like stuck there. I would nod out and just kind of wake myself up because I didn't want nobody to see me like that. Sometimes people just nod out and they just sit there for a long time. Oh, guys, I went on so many car rides. I spent so much money for 8 years. I was addicted to those pain meds. Oh, gosh. The year 2017, around Halloween time, when I had my last pill. I am officially 6 years clean with no wants, no temptations, no cravings, no nothing. I have pilophobia. I am afraid of Tylenol. I cannot take anything without having an anxiety or panic attacks. I feel like a Tylenol or any pill will kill me. Sometimes I'm even afraid to drink protein drinks because I'm just like, what if that makes my heart stop? Damn, guys. It can mess you up psychologically. It really does. I never dealt with panic attacks and anxiety when I was high because I was high. I was sedated. So like I didn't really... You don't have time to think about that because you're all messed up. I am so proud of myself. What I can say is that my son was enough to make me realize that life is way more worth than just getting high all day. God gave me life to do something good with it. God granted me with my son as a gift. So I need to cherish that. God has given me life to be happy. We're all put on this earth as a test. But it's also how you use your life. Do you go down the wrong path? Do you go on a straight path and a positive, stress-free, drama-free? Or do you crumble, deteriorate, and die? I didn't want that for my life. My son needs me. And I'd be damned if I would have gave up on him. So I'm about 6 or 7 years clean. And boy, let me tell you, I feel good. I do. So my son's father was just talking to me and he was like, Laurie, you have to stop doing what you're doing because you're hurting yourself and you're hurting son. He says, look at him. Just the thought of me not being here and my son has to be without a mom. I was like, oh no, I gotta change. I gotta make changes in my life. I need to be strong. I don't give a shit if I'm gonna be sick. So I got home and my sister was there. And she was like, oh my God, Laurie, oh my God, oh my God. She gave me a hug and she was like, let's get clean together because my sister drinks. She does methamphetamine and I did pills. She was like, let's get clean together. And I really thought she was gonna get clean with me, you know? But yeah, my sister, she just lives her life and I live mine. I really wish she would change her life though because we don't even have a relationship anymore at all. Like nothing. We talk probably once every 3 to 6 months. But we don't even have that sister bond anymore. It's just so sad because I really wish I had a sister to call, to lean on, to cry with. I mean, I just wish I had somebody that close to me. That night, I got down on my knees and I grabbed my son's hands. And he was standing up and I looked at him and I said, baby, I am so sorry that I put you through this. I'm so sorry that you had to see your mother go through an addiction. I am so sorry. I apologize for everything. He looked at me, guys, got both of his hands and he was like this. And he was like, Mama, look. I never lacked anything. You always gave me love. I never not once felt that you didn't love me. I never not once felt that you didn't care for me. He says, but I want you to get better. He says, please, Mommy, because I need you. And I told him, baby, I promise you from this day, Mama is going to get better. I'm not going to put you or me through this no more. Mommy is going to get better, and I promise you. And he says, Mommy, God will take care of you. He will. And he gave me a cross on my forehead, and he closed his eyes and mumbled something, and he said, Amen. Let me tell you something. That next day, I still had all those pills, but I didn't touch them. That next day, I woke up. I was like, baby, let me tell you something. Mama will never put you through this again. Mama is going to get better. I promise you. Please forgive me for everything. And he says, Mommy, I forgive you. He says, but you have to forgive yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Be behind you. My son was young at that time. I'm more grateful that I quit before he started understanding more. He was about 8 or 9 years old when I quit. So like he didn't really comprehend, but your children are not dumb. You know, they know. He wasn't a teen, so he didn't really recognize it because all he seen was the good in me. He never seen bad. I love my baby. Oh, baby, I love you. So we fell asleep, and the next morning I woke up and I sat at the corner of my bed. I had all these pills. I had 3 bags of pills. One with Percocets, one with Zomas, and the other one with fentanyl. And I looked at my son, and be mind you, I never showed my son pills. Never. I hid everything from everybody. I was living that lie, you know. But I went in and I told him, baby, I said, look, Mama promised I'm going to get better. And so I took him in the bathroom. I opened the bags of pills, and I flushed them all down the toilet. It was between $1,500 to $2,000 worth of pills. Pills are expensive. I could have kept them and sold them, but that would have just been a temptation. Let me tell you something. I was so sick. Oh my God. And be mind you, when you are addicted to pain medication, you can't just quit cold turkey. Like, you need help, you know, because you could go through seizures. You can die just from being off pain meds like that, like quitting cold turkey. You have to have something to kind of help you stay stable so that your body don't freak out. You're addicted to pain medications and then you stop, your body freaks the out big time, because it's like, oh my God, what are you doing? You need to give me something. Feed me with that shit. Feed me with what I need. But I was so determined, guys. Like, I was determined. I was so sick for 5 full days. There's a girl that I know, and I got on the phone with her, started talking to her, but I didn't want to talk on the phone because when you're going through withdrawals, you don't want to be around nobody. You don't want to talk to nobody. You don't want nothing. But I was determined, guys. I was determined. And I wanted to get up and just go buy pills. I did. I'm not going to lie, guys. I wanted to get up and go buy some pills. I really did. I started telling her what happened. She was like, oh my God, Laurie. She goes, I don't know how you're doing it, but you are strong. She goes, but you can't just quit like that without taking anything. Now, I wasn't 5 days into it. I was like 3 days into the withdrawal. And I go, girl, I said, I'm freaking like dying inside. Like, I need something. And she says, Laurie, you can't quit just like that. You need to be on something. And so she goes, have you ever heard of Suboxone? And I said, no. So she started telling me about it. She goes, it's an opiate blocker. She goes, you won't have the night sweats and the withdrawals and the irritable, like you won't feel any of that. Good morning. It's the next day. This video is taking a long time for me to freaking edit because it keeps pausing. But anyways, being on Suboxone does block out the opiate cravings, but you gotta mentally and psychologically be ready, because if not, you will relapse. And you are trying to not go that route and that path. So you really got to want it. If you don't want it, then your body's gonna want it. So like, if your brain is like, you know what, I'm done with this whole shit, your body's gonna crave it. So you have to really be dedicated and strong-minded and say, you know what, I'm done, and that's it. When I was done, I was done. Like, when I'm done with things, I am done. Like, I don't go back, and I don't have cravings or wants or needs. Nothing. Like, I think about the shit that I've gone through, and I'm just like, damn. I could remember when the withdrawals that I had, guys, and I'm just like, why do I keep putting myself through this? Why? I don't want to feel like this. I don't want to feel sick. I don't want to feel, you know, with headaches and all the withdrawals that come with it, nauseated and stomach aches and headaches and night sweats, cold sweats. Like, I don't want to feel like that. But I kept putting myself through that because my body and my brain wanted it. But when I was ready, when I got down on my knees and I told my son, Mommy is going to get better, and I promise you, I meant it. Period. Your kids should be enough for you to say, you know what? I'm done. It's a lot, guys. It is. It's a lot mentally. Mentally, you get afraid of like, oh my God, I don't want to go through the withdrawals. If you love your children as well as yourself that much, you will get your shit together and move forward. So when she was telling me about the Suboxones, and I go, what is it? I go, I don't want to take pills anymore. She goes, no, it's a film. She goes, you just cut it in half and just put it under your tongue. She goes, you can't take any pain medication. It won't do nothing for you. It'll be senseless. She goes, if you come drive over here, I'll give you one. So I went over there and I got one and I put it under my tongue, just like she said to cut it. It didn't work. You have to allow it to kick in like any other medication. I was so desperate just to feel better. And it was because my mind was so wanting just to feel better. I was so sick. And so day 4 came, day 5. And finally I got up and I was like, you know what? I got to do something. So I went to a Suboxone clinic. Oh God, guys, just driving there. I made an appointment on a Monday. Tuesday, I got an appointment. And I was sitting there. There was people in there, and they were all on Suboxones. And I was like, damn, I just want to feel like that. Like, I want to be normal, you know? I always used to tell myself, like, why can't you quit? Why is it so hard? I just want to be normal. I want to live normal. I want to live happy. I want to live free. Sign the papers. Like, they give you a whole stack of papers to sign, you know, just what kind of medication you took, your health, everything. They do a whole assessment, getting your information. They gave me a 15-day supply of Suboxone. It didn't kick in until like 2 days, so I stood 2 days extra just being sick. I was so sick for 7 full freaking days. Oh my God. I had the night sweats. I was waking up sweaty. I was waking up just feeling like, God, I just want to go get up and just go get me a pill. I just need just one. But I kept telling myself, no, Laurie, because 1 leads to 2, 3. And then before you know, you're going to be right back in the same place. And I made a promise to my son. And I don't break promises to my son. I don't break promises, period. And I sure the hell ain't going to break a promise to my son. When I say something, I do it. I know what it feels to be promised something and never get that promise. So I never, ever break a promise to nobody, period. So right then I knew, guys, I had an overdose. Like, I really got to change my life. I do. My son is worth it. My son is worth me being sick just so that I could get better. My son is worth it. He's enough for me to change my life. I never started that shit in the first place. But after my father passed away, I fell into a deep depression and felt like when I was taking those Percocets, I felt numb, like I was okay. My brain was like really comfortable. And so like I didn't even get to grieve over my dad when he passed because I was so high, you know, and I used to beat myself up for that shit, but I forgave myself. Like my son says, I forgive you, Mommy, but you got to forgive yourself. For him being that young and saying that, when he told me those words, I felt my dad's presence. It was like my dad's spirit was in my son. And when my son told me that, I felt my dad's presence immediately. It's so crazy how our loved ones come to us in such ways that we don't even know. It's amazing and a great feeling. And I'm just so grateful that I'm out of that lifestyle because my life was going downhill. 8 years is a long time to be on these damn pills. People get so deep that their tolerance begins to get high and they can't find that same high. So they begin to do heavier shit, heroin and fentanyl. And that's not the path I wanted for myself. Like I always said, I would never touch that shit. And I meant that. They always say never, but I could say I would never. The fentanyl wasn't my choice, but I can say I would never touch fentanyl and heroin and methamphetamine. Like I would never touch that shit. You know, when I did that fentanyl, it was a bad pill that I bought. I didn't know. But these drugs will take you down to lanes and make you do shit that you would never even do being sober. You get addicted quick. It's scary, guys. It really is. I am so grateful that I quit because I overdosed on fentanyl. And I thought it was a 30 milligram perk. And it wasn't. These drug dealers, they don't give a shit about you. They don't. You're just another account for their wallet. Period. So guys, since I'm making this whole documentary of myself, I want to talk to my son, get his mindset on like everything, because I really didn't talk to him when he was younger, so because he was younger. But now that he's a teenager, I'm just glad that I quit when I did. When he was young, he doesn't have any memories of me being on those pills. But now that he's a teenager, all he knows is the good. He's always known the good, because I've always been a great mother to him. You were young when I did it. You've seen me clean this whole time. So I really want to talk to my son. I just want to ask him a couple of questions. Do you see this face, guys? That's the reason why I quit. Because he was enough for me to quit. When I was on pills, I was going through that depression because of my dad. And then it just got worse and worse. And by the time, I was so high and sedated and that I didn't really even think about it or realize what I was really doing. Through this whole clip, my son makes face reactions all the time, so it might be funny. With that being said, when I came in and sat on that toilet and you seen me, and I know you called for your dad and said that I was sleeping and I didn't want to wake up. I know your dad told you to go downstairs. How did you feel in that moment? Did you feel like something happened, or do you feel like I was just sleeping?
No, I knew something happened.
You felt something happened?
Mm-hmm.
Was you scared?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so sorry, baby. Did things go through your mind like my mom was gonna... Oh, I don't want to say that.
No.
You didn't think like that? You know what I was about to say, huh?
Mm-hmm.
When we came back here and I got down on my knees and I just grabbed your hand and I prayed to you and I told you that I promised that I would never, ever hurt you or touch that shit again. How did you feel in that moment? Did you take me serious?
I took you serious, yeah.
Because I never break promises. Have I ever broke a promise to you? Ever, huh? Ever. Everything I say, I always do what I say, right?
Yep.
Did you ever feel like I never not loved you?
No, I didn't ever feel that.
No. And how do you feel about me today?
I respect you. I respect the things that you do. And I'm really happy for you. I'm proud.
You're proud of me? That makes me feel so good as a mother, knowing that I'm not on those things anymore. And like I never wanted to talk to you about it again because it was like the past. But this is the first time me asking you like how you really felt.
I'm just very proud of you. I'm just very proud of you, and I'm just glad that you never gave up on me.
Aw, thank you, my baby.
Because a lot of parents, they do give up on their children.
Yeah, that's true. They really do. But you know what? You were enough for me to get my life together. You were enough. Just the look on your face, it was like, what am I doing? Son, stop making those face. Stop making those face reactions. But you were enough for me to quit my shit. You mean so much to me, son. So much. I love you with my whole heart. There's nothing that I wouldn't do for you. I love you.
I love you too. I love you too with my entire heart, to the moon and back, to the universe and back. And yes, I win.
I win.
But I'm just grateful that God gifted me with you.
And I'm grateful that God gifted me with you as well. I love you.
I love you too. You're the best mamas ever.
Oh, baby, you don't have to do those face reactions. I love you.
I love you too.
Son, it looks like you're taking a poop when you do that. I love you.
You're my whole world, my whole heart, and I just love you.
Oh, I love you. Oh, my baby. I love you, baby. Well, that's all I wanted to say because I really wanted to get how you felt. I love you.
I love you too. And Mama,
yes.
I'm proud of you.
Oh, thank you, my baby. Oh, I really wanted to see how he felt because I never got to talk to him about it. So now that I know, I mean, we didn't get into depths on how he feels because he just never talks about it because I think he was just young, He just has nothing but great memories. And you know what? One thing about me is even when I was on those pills, I always made sure that I spent time with my son. Always. We went to the zoo, we went to the aquarium, we went to the park. Like, we do things just like we do now. So I never not been this good mother. I always made sure that I was a great mother. A mother that I never had that close bond, that communication. I always wanted to make sure that I was different. And anyways, with that being said, I'm just very grateful and just so proud, and I couldn't be more grateful than the Lord above, because that man saved me. Amen. Hallelujah. 11 days to 2 weeks. I started feeling good, you know, like I was getting up. I have OCD anyways, guys, so I always clean. Like, I'm a clean freak. I always have to have my home clean and organized. Being off medication, it was like I didn't have no energy for shit. Got up and I thought my sister was going to be clean too, but she started drinking. I knew right then and there that wasn't gonna change, but I was like, I gotta be strong for me, you know, I really do. And every day I prayed. Every day I got on my knees and prayed. I said, please, dear Lord, just help me. Help me stay strong. Dear Lord, please turn my weakness into strength. Transform my suffering into compassion and turn my sorrows into lasting joy. Bless all those who struggle with addiction. Touch them, heal them, reassure them of the Father's consistent love. That my strength and courage may not fail. Allow me to trust in your goodness and find hope and faithfulness even in the midst of the struggle. Dear Lord, be near in my time of weakness and pain. Hold, shield, and protect me into eternal life, my dear Lord. Amen. And I kept repeating that to myself. I would pray morning and night. Lord, the prayers, all that helps, guys. It does. It makes you become stronger, better, and more focused. God gave me the strength and the power to get my life together. Anything under God's control is never out of control. All you got to do is believe, be patient, and invite him in. He will save you. After about 2 weeks, I was like getting up, going places without medication. The next day, I had money. The next day after that, I had more money. And I was like, oh my God. And then I just started feeling good about myself. Started learning me all over again. Guys, let me tell you something, real talk. When you're high, drunk, highly medicated, whatever the drug addiction may be, you forget how good life is. You forget how happy you used to be. You just forget how life used to be. I feel so free. I feel like I can breathe again. You lose yourself in the process. And that's the hardest thing to swallow, is when you lose yourself. Don't get me wrong, I've always loved myself. I always paid attention to myself. I always cared for myself. But I also put me last. And when I became clean and I started feeling that good feeling again, I'm like, damn, if I knew what this life felt like, I would have done this shit a long time ago. I'm so grateful that I stopped when I did. And I was like, oh my God, why did I even spend so much time doing pills? Why did I spend so much time driving all over looking for pills? Why did I spend so much time on this shit? If I knew what it felt like to be free and to be off pills completely, I would have done this a long time ago. Because the way I feel now, I feel good, I feel free, I'm content, I'm happy, and I'm living life. I got my family, like, I'm living life. I'm not living a lie anymore. I'm not waking up with withdrawals, feeling sick. I feel alive, happy, and content. But most of all, free and drama-free, stress-free. It's like, damn, why did I wait this much time? Why did I waste so much time and energy and money when I could have done this a long time ago? When you have an addiction, you don't think about stuff like that. You really don't. You don't think about, what if I could, I should have, I could have, I would have. You don't think about shit like that. Sometimes you got to go through things to realize what you are really missing. And I really had to go through this whole pill addiction to really realize what I have, what I could lose. Oh God, I couldn't even think about the thought of losing my kid. My whole world would be done. I know you got to be strong when things happen because life is unpredictable. You can't predict what's gonna happen. My son is my everything, guys. He is. I know a couple of girls that I did pills with, and they did pills, had overdoses, and then 20 minutes later started doing them again. And I'm just like, now they're doing heroin, they smoke meth. When you have an addiction and you want to get out, you have to mentally be there. Because if you're not mentally ready, you're not going to quit. Your body can say, I don't want it. Your mind can think like, I don't want it. But your body is telling you, yes, I do want it. If you're not mentally ready, you're never going to get out. And you can't keep telling someone, you need to quit. You need to stop doing those drugs. You need to stop drinking. You need to stop smoking that meth, or whatever the case may be. You can't tell people that because that shit just drives them to do more. They got to mentally be ready. Don't enable them and don't help them. You can love them from a distance, but do not enable. Don't pay no bills or watch their kids, period. The way I feel now, I just feel so freaking free. I feel so alive, happy, and just like me again. Life is so good. I'm always positive. Like, the reason why I like making videos like this is because there's people that are in these positions. There's people that don't understand and they want to try to understand. There's people that are not really educated about the whole pill addiction or drugs, and they don't really understand, but they always have a negative opinion, but they don't really understand it, you know? That's why when people are on drugs, pills, drugs, dope, alcohol, whatever it may be, they hide it because they're afraid of the judgmental talking down on them. They're afraid of what you feel on how you think about their lives. They always feel judged. And that's because people that don't really understand don't know how to approach the situation. And so for me making videos like this, I hope in one day that I could educate someone. But at the same time, I don't want someone to be taken advantage of. People that don't really understand, I don't want you to enable somebody because of the information that you get. A lot of the drug addicts, they try to manipulate people that are vulnerable. So if they feel that they can get you, they will get you. Like, they will manipulate you to get what they want because they're addicts. But you cannot enable them. You can love them and love them from a distance. Don't feed into their bullshit. Don't give them money if you're trying to help them. Don't pay their bills. Don't pay their phone. Don't do any of that. You can love them, give them love, attention, care, or food. But do not feed into their bullshit. The more that you keep helping, the more it's going to make them weak. You don't want them to be weak. You want them to be strong and independent. You're going to make them weak and they're not going to get help. They're not going to get help because you're making it easy for them. So don't do that. If you are helping a loved one now, if you're paying their bills and doing errands for them, taking care of their kids, you got to cut that off. Like, seriously. Because you are enabling them and you are making it okay for them to do what they're doing. You got to stop. For the loved ones that do tell you, oh, you got to stop helping them, you're making it easy for them, they're right. They're not just telling you that to get on your back. They see something that you're not seeing, and they're seeing you be used. That's the only reason why they're telling you what they're telling you, because they see something that you're not seeing. Addicts will drain your brain, but they will also drain your mindset and make you forget about what they're really doing. They try to take you down their little path of manipulation. They try to take you down a path where they want you to feel sorry for them, but you cannot. You got to be stronger than that. Stop helping. You will see a change. You will see them get better. Basically, you're crippling them to do whatever they want to do. You got to show who's in charge. They depend on you because they know that you're helping them and they know that they need you. You got to cut it off before it gets worse. When you stop helping, they will start to begin like, damn, I don't have her or I don't have him. What am I going to do? They're going to start fighting for themselves, and that's what you want. You don't want to keep crippling them because they'll never get better. And if something happens, you're going to be blaming yourself for the rest of your life. They're never going to get help. Basically, you're giving the approval and saying, yes, go ahead and do what you're doing. I'll take care of everything. No, hells to the no. You got to be more stronger than that. You got to allow them to hit rock bottom, and you got to allow them to fend for themselves. Stop enabling and stop helping. I can come in and just talk about my story, say what I really went through and just talk about it. I can change lives. And that's what my goal is. I want to change lives. Every day my son will say, Mama, I'm so proud of you. Look at you, Mama. You're doing good. And that motivated me. Oh my God, that motivated me so much. Every day he would say that. Every day he would be like, Mama, look at you. I'm so proud of you. You're so beautiful. You're coming back to life. He said, you look so happy. And that was like a freaking time bomb, like a motivation that was just like bang. You know, it was like a whole star vibration of happiness and just like, damn, this is what I really want. This is what I want for my life. I'm loving this life. I love this. If you want out of your addiction, you got to mentally be ready because you could fall back anytime. But anyways, guys, that was the real reason why I quit. It was hard. It was so hard, guys. Hard. So hard. But I was so motivated. And my son was enough. But thank you for listening to my story. I hope that I can change someone else's mindset. I hope that I can change someone else be better than they were yesterday. I hope that I can help someone understand the depths of when a person has an addiction, how they feel, why they feel this way. I really hope that I can change someone to have a better life. I really hope that I can help someone to find themselves again, to find happiness. There's so much more to life than just getting high. You can do it. You just got to fight. You got to put in the work though. Fight for what you want. You will get there. It may be hard. That little hard time only lasts for a little time. And the life that you will get is so much worth it. You know, when you have an addiction, you really don't understand why. You don't. When a person does drugs, and if they like the way that drug feels, they become addicted instantly. And there's nothing nobody can do. But at the same time, a person doesn't really recognize what drugs or medications can do. Medications or drugs can grab you by the freaking brain and control your every move. That's why I say don't do drugs, because they're not worth it. All they do is waste time, energy, and a lot of money. And then you lose everybody that you love. You lose everybody around you. They're not worth it, guys. Don't do drugs. I hope you guys enjoyed these types of videos where I could just kind of talk to you guys about my life story and what I've been through. I've been through a lot, guys. A lot. But I stand here today and I'm freaking happy. I'm content. I'm dedicated. I'm motivated. And I just want to be the best that I can be every day. But anyways, guys, with that being said, I love you guys so much. I'm going to leave my link tree down in the description. That will take you to all the social media platforms as well as our vendors. Thank you for supporting. Don't forget to like, because it does help my channel grow. With that being said, I love you. Bye. Remember, don't ever underestimate anyone's life that has been through so much. We fight for our lives every day in ways people will never understand. Always be kind to each other, be sensitive, but yet be respectful. Life is too short. Don't take it for granted. Love yourself as well as God, because no one else will.